What's up, everyone? It's Ripper here. I've been trying to get this out earlier in the day. My plan was to actually make 2 videos today, but this thing right here has been blowing up today, so I've not even had time. So I'm going to put this one together real quick. In case you didn't know, we're talking about this Tiger King stuff, the case of Don Lewis. The family has announced that they're going to have a press conference on August 10th in the Tampa Bay area. The site has not been determined yet, but they're going to make a few announcements regarding the case of Don Lewis. The family would be the 3 daughters and the ex-wife of Don Lewis, which is Gladys. So they've announced a press conference for August 10th. On Saturday, I sent out an email as a press release announcing this press conference that the family has wanted to have. I sent it to local media outlets in the Tampa area. WFL8.com, which is also, I believe, Channel 8 in Tampa, jumped on the story. I think within a couple of hours, they had an article out there. I'm going to put, I have it right here, but I'm going to put the link in the description of this video. Go over and look at it. Hopefully a lot of you have already looked at it before this video even started. You can go to WFLA.com. If people are going to publish articles and they have the truth in them or they're neutral, we need to support these media people. So their article says, family of missing ex-husband of Carole Baskin to hold press conference August 10th. That's the headline. And then when you read it, they say that there's going to be a press conference on August 10th. They talk about my email that went out there. And basically it says the family will make a few announcements. That's really all it says. Someone from Channel 8 contacted Carole, and she gave them a statement, and it said, I do not plan to attend. I believe it is a publicity stunt orchestrated by Jack Smith to bolster his YouTube views, but do hope that all the attention from Tiger King and the aftermath will result in us finding Don. I guess she doesn't want to call me Ripper anymore. That's fine. It was nice when she did it the first time when she made the 40-minute video about this Ripper and Jack, if that's even his real name. Well, it is. So, you know, I mean, it's not the comment I would have made probably if a family of a missing person is announcing a press conference. If it was my ex-husband, I might be like, oh, hopefully they found something. Maybe they've uncovered something in the case. Maybe there's a break in the case. But no, it's not that. She thinks it's a publicity stunt. I wish I could say that was all. But also, she emails them 4.5 pages. Basically a statement of some sort, but it is titled Questions for Tiger King Case. Or Cast, sorry. Questions for Tiger King Cast. 4.5 pages. Now we're talking about a missing person here. Someone that is dead. I mean, more than likely, he's not alive anymore. That's what the press conference is about. Don Lewis, a guy who went missing. Carole's ex-husband. But what does she do? 4.5 pages of questions. Basically, in my opinion, she's just bashing people. Questions for Tiger King cast. Anne McQueen and the 3 daughters. That's who she sends these questions to. When I started reading this, I was just like, are you serious right now? Like, this, I was baffled. So then I spent all day Sunday going through all my notes, my audio recordings, my video interviews. I don't know if the family has actually read this stuff. I don't even know if they will or not. But I have enough information that I don't think they need to waste their time with it. I don't know if this is a narrative that Carole is trying to spin. I don't know what her goal is, but I'm going to go through the whole thing, not in this video, but I'm going to go through all 4.5 pages. Because to me, it appears like she's trying to put something out there to control some kind of narrative. But let me tell you how it starts out. Anne McQueen, the very first person, it says, "How is it possible that your friend and boss for more than 17 years gives you a secret envelope and says, 'If anything happens to me, give this to the police'? And 2 months later, he disappears and you forget all about the envelope." All right, so when I've talked to Anne, she's told me that she basically can't remember the exact words, but something to the effect that, if something happens to me, you know what to do with this, or something to that effect. I don't think she's ever, me personally, given me an exact quote of what it was. But. Carole says 2 months later you give it to... No, not 2 months later. Hold on. How do you forget all about the envelope? She says, "First, I can't believe that she wouldn't have peeked at the contents. And if he'd said that, I can't believe that she wouldn't have peeked at the contents if he had said that." Well, let me tell you from what I know from talking to Anne for many hours and weeks and months. It wasn't uncommon for Dawn to give Anne a sealed envelope. Sometimes it might have money in it. Sometimes it might have notes. I'll give you an example. Him and Wendell Williams would sit down and discuss a business deal or whatever. Dawn would write down notes about what they discussed. He would put it in an envelope and seal it and give it to Anne and tell her to hold on to it. And then a couple weeks later, Dawn might, and I'm doing this off memory, so I might not be exactly right, but it's sort of like this. Could be a couple weeks later. Dawn would come to Anne and say, "Hey, do you have that envelope that I gave you?" And I don't know if it had a name or whatever on it. And she would get it and give it to him, and then he would go to Wendell and say, "No, this is what we discussed." So he would have it written down like he was taking notes. Well, there were multiple times that Anne had told me she'd gotten envelopes, and they were sealed. And if she'd opened them and had to give them back to Dawn, he would know that she opened them. So she would not open them, but she didn't know what was in it. And then Carole goes on to say, and second, there is no way when you are being grilled by the cops about your missing friend and boss that you fail to remember the envelope exists. Well, Carole, you are correct about that. Because on August 29th, the same day that Kenny Farr, your father, and you broke into that office, you cut the locks. You didn't have a key. You had to cut the locks to get into it. That same day, that protection order was handed over to law enforcement. So you're right. She didn't wait to do it. She gave it to him when she was being grilled. She had it on the 29th. That's when law enforcement got it. You should give Detective Garcia a call at the Hillsborough Sheriff Department and maybe have a conversation with him or go meet with him and find out what all information is out there that you don't know about. But you're right. She did give it to him on the 29th. She didn't hold it until the next month. Carole says that instead of doing that, on the day of the hearing where the judge is going to decide who gets to run the real estate business that Dawn and I built, she suddenly remembers and springs it on me right before the hearing. She didn't spring it on the police. Well, it might have been sprung on you at the hearing also, but the police had it on the 29th of August. But that stuff has nothing to do with the press conference of the family making a few announcements. So why is this stuff, why is this even there? It goes on. I'm going to let you guys read it, but I am going to go over some stuff. Just quickly, it says, like, proved Don was a millionaire in 1981 when I met him. Well, you've told the story that Don went by Bob Martin and said that he worked for a millionaire. You've told the story that when you met him, Don said his name was Bob Martin and he worked for this Don Lewis guy who was a millionaire. You've told that story in your own words. But why are you using 1981? I think maybe it should be like 1991 or 90. When did you guys get married? When were you like his main squeeze? Because I know in the 80s, you were not the only chick he was with. There was many girls that he was spending time with. So why 1981? You weren't like, I mean, you were just, for lack of better words, a piece of ass. I'm sorry, but that's all I can think of right now. So 81, I don't think that dates. Maybe 90, 91, we could do that. I'm going to go over all that. That's page 1, and that was maybe 2 paragraphs, maybe. The next one for the daughters. I'm going to go through all this at a later date. But the first daughter is Donna Pettis. She says, Donna said she called Don the week before Father's Day in 1997 at our house and arranged to come out the following Saturday. Said Don told her I wouldn't be here. So Carole must have been writing this from home. And then in parentheses it says Don was in Costa Rica that week, and on the 14th of June he was at Tampa Machinery Auction all day and brought a homeless guy home with him that evening. Well, he might have been in Costa Rica that week, but on June 12th he wasn't. On June 12th he filed for a protection order. The 14th was a Saturday, so the 12th was a Sunday. Maybe Don came home on Wednesday. Maybe he came home and someone was mad because he had been in Costa Rica for a week with his girlfriend there. Maybe someone was upset about that and then threatened to kill him or something. I don't know. But he was around on the 12th of June because he filed that protection order. So had he been in Costa Rica that week, he'd come back on the 12th. It goes on. And I'll go through these. I think what I'll do is break them down. I don't know if I'll do it paragraph by paragraph or by each individual, but I will, because most of this stuff I know the facts. Like, well, here's another thing. Donna claims to have been talking to her father during the same week that he got a restraining order against me in June 1997, but said he didn't mention it to her. Right. Because if I were to get a restraining order against someone, I'm not going to tell my daughters about that. The last people I would ever tell about my personal problems, especially where I'm saying I'm fearing for my life, I've been threatened, I'm not telling my kids about that. I'll tell some friends probably, but I'm not telling my kids. No way am I putting that on my kids. No way. I find that normal as can be that he wouldn't have said anything to her about that. That's just not something you want your kids to know about. But I know who he did tell because I've talked to multiple witnesses that have told me. Matter of fact, I talked to one witness that just a few days before Don went missing, he said, Don told me he was going to divorce his wife. He wasn't going to take her to Costa Rica. He was taking his animals, and he was scared that she was going to do something to me. This is what one of his friends told me. So he told just one of his friends, just a few days before he went missing, that he was scared Carole was going to do something to him. That's who you tell your friends. You don't tell your kids. If you're telling your kids stuff like that, I feel so bad for your kid. Here's another thing that when I read this, I was just shaking my head. Why was she the one to request and fill out Don's death certificate? They tried to make it sound like I was in a hurry to declare him dead, but they were the ones pushing it so they could get the life insurance money. Then she has a link for bigcatrescue.org/Netflix. She's talking about Donna filling out Don's death certificate. Carole, if you're going to make statements like that, you got to make sure you're talking about the facts, because you know I'm going to talk about facts. What's that say? Application. Here's the application for a death certificate right here for Don Lewis. This is the application for it. This is what she's talking about. Guess what? Donna Pettis didn't sign it. None of the daughters signed that. I don't know what Carole's talking about. This is this is the application she's talking about. Donna didn't sign that. That's not Donna's signature. And where it says name of applicant to be printed, her name's not printed there as the applicant. Donna didn't do that. So that right there, I'm just reading that. I'm like, what is she talking about? Let's look at something here, though. Carole Lewis affidavit in support of petition to determine Jack Donald Lewis as deceased. There's her signature. There's the date, January 31st. January 31st, 2006. That's when it's notarized. But look at the date right here. 20th day of August, 2002. He went missing August 19th, 1997. 5 days and 1 year later, this is a petition to the court to declare him dead. Because you need this to collect the life insurance money. This is what you need to send to the life insurance company, I believe. This right here. This right here is it. Here's your date on it. 5 years and 1 day after he's declared missing, she files a petition declaring dead. And she's talking about one of the daughters filling out an application for a death certificate when it's not even the daughter. What is she trying to prove? Carole Lewis petition to determine Jack Donald Lewis as deceased. And then, there's the details of it that you can read. But so when I read this 4.5 pages of stuff, I was just baffled and like, what is this about? It has nothing to do with the press release of a press conference. It's bashing them and trying to put some kind of narrative out there that obviously is not true. So I'm going to go through the whole thing paragraph by paragraph, and I'm going to put what's true out there, because that's one of the things I told this family I would do, is find out what happened to their dad and get justice for him and justice for this family. And one of those things is putting the truth out there. And Carole, if my channel gets views by doing that, then so be it. The channel is here for people to see stuff, for views. You have a YouTube channel also. You want to get views, right? I mean, that's one of the goals when you do one of these channels, is to get views. Anyway, matter of fact, before I go, I don't know if Ann McQueen is watching or not. In this thing where she tells Ann, Ann didn't show that until the 29th. Or, sorry, September 9th in court. Ann, if you're watching, just type in the comments the date that you turned over the protection order to law enforcement. And to refresh your memory, the day that you talked to law enforcement the very first time was August 29th. That was a Friday. You did not go into work that day. And that's the day that you got a call from the alarm company that the motion detectors were going off. That's the day the locks had been cut at the office. Carole, Kenny, and Vernon went in there. You know, one other thing in this 4.5 pages that I'm going to talk about real quick, and then I'm going to go. In reference to Anne. She says, talking about Anne, did she destroy a January 28th, 1997 will? I don't know if we ever executed it, but if we did, was it one of the documents she stole from the office the day Dad saw her son and a coworker hauling boxes from her office to Anne's house? Anne has never ever mentioned to me about a will from January 28th, 1997. The will that Anne has discussed with me was from like 1994 or 1995. I'm going to tell you what I think happened right here. The reason this question is in here. A couple of weeks ago, Carole made a video, one of her diaries. And she says on January 28th, Dawn came to her and asked her to write up a new will and a power of attorney, and they had to change things in it multiple times because his greedy kids and this kind of stuff. She slipped up because she said January 28th, a power of attorney and a will. So I made a video after that. I said, oh, she gave me a birthday present because she brings up this will from January 28th, 1997. Where is this will at? Because we know the will and the power of attorney that was put into the court system is dated November 21st, 1996. That's the one that has the notary stamp by Sandra Whitcop. It's dated November 21st, 1996, but it's not entered into the court system until September of 97, which is after Dawn is gone. I mean, it's my opinion that will was made in September of 97 and backdated. Sandra's signature was traced along with other signatures on there. The will and stuff from January 28, 1997, I called Carole out on that, asking where's that at? And now all of a sudden she puts a thing out saying Anne must have stolen it. Now she's going to blame Anne. She's covering her tracks on that January 28th will. Anne must have taken it. It just does not get any better than that. When she made that diary thing, I can't believe that she wouldn't have brought that up. That would have been the perfect time to bash Anne. She's always looking for opportunities to do it, it appears to me. Anyway, I'm disgusted by these 4.5 pages. I think it's pathetic. I think it's rude. I think it's heartless. You got a family that's grieving. They're going to have a press conference, and this is the best you can do is to bash people that were close to Don Lewis. Well, hopefully Anne put a date down in the comments. Hopefully it was the 29th. Hopefully I'm right. I could be wrong. I hope not. It wouldn't be the first time. Hopefully the next day or two I'll start getting these out, and I think maybe I'll just go by each person and clear the air and put the truth out there. That's my goal. Memorial, August 15th, 2020 at 1:30 p.m. and it's going to be live streamed right here. So if you can't make it to the memorial on August 15th, it's going to be live streamed right here. The place that's doing the memorial is going to tie into this channel, and they're going to stream it live. So that's great. August 14th, Chad Ridge is doing a candlelight vigil. I think it's 7 p.m. It's somewhere on Facebook. Look for Don Lewis Candlelight Vigil. I don't know if I'm going to attend. I don't know if anyone from the family is going to be there or not. I would think that someone from the family will be there, but being the night before the memorial, it's going to be a real busy time. So I don't know if anyone from the family will be there. I don't know if I'll be able to make it there or not. August 10th, there's a press conference that the family's going to have with some announcements about this case. Everybody hit the thumbs up. If you haven't hit it yet, hit it. Hit subscribe, turn on all notifications. I don't spam video after video after video out. I'm just sitting here because I'm baffled by these 4.5 pages. Every time I read them, I'm just like, this is crazy. And what's bad is that it's been released and people are going to read this and not know the other side of the story or know the truth. And they're going to think that this is the real deal. They're going to think this is the truth. And that's why I'm going to go through it and I'm going to break it down and I'm going to put it all out there. Everybody stay safe out there. I'm Ripper, and I'm out.